So I don't know if I want to call it an extraterrestrial story, but I have something that I can't quite explain that I experienced. If y'all would like to hear it. Let's do this. I'm going to turn my camera on so that y'all can see. Y'all can watch me. I'm not making this up. You can see it in my face. I'm gonna set the camera up just in case there are any of you lie detectors out there that think I'm making this story up. Yeah, Darby says giver. All right, brother. I appreciate the support. Because I'm gonna turn the camera on because there might be people out there that he's just making this story up. Trust me when I explain this, okay? And who knows, I might upload this to the YouTube channel too. Give me just a second here. I will set up the camera. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, follow us on Twitch. This is where we're doing it. All right, I'm back. Let's see here. Watch it not even work. Okay, it's working. Ooh, that looks ugly in the background. Hold on. There we go. Hi, it's me. Yeah, it's me. How y'all doing? It's me again. So, I might have put on a couple of LBs because of the cousins and the aunts visiting. Been doing nothing but eating, so if I look a little different. But yeah, so and just for the record, I don't really talk about this. It happened a while ago, and
disgusting.
When it happened, I'm not one of those people that I'm a skeptic. I'll put it that way. I've always been a skeptic. I'm open to saying something unexplained happened, but that's like where I stop. I stop short. So this was back in. This was back in 1999. And I remember the date because I told myself, remember this date just for whatever reason. You don't even have to know why. Just remember this date because it was something very unusual happened. And it was December 6th of 1999. So we're talking, 24 years ago almost? And I was working the night shift at, I was doing contract work for Microsoft, and I was part of what they called the Millennium Team, and our job was to make sure the year 2000 bug wasn't that big of a deal and everything. And the reason that that's important is because where I lived, which was out in the boonies, our backyard was essentially a field. We would see deer, coyotes, what the rest of the world calls coyotes, and that's right, I'm from the south, and I remember because we were getting letters in the mail saying, hey, you might lose power because we're testing for the year 2000 thing or whatever. And for those that don't know, back in 99, we were all terrified that the world was going to end, and our electronics weren't going to work because of this Y2K bug. I won't get into it. You can definitely look it up online. So there's a reason I'm mentioning that, and not because it's random. So I'm working the night shift. I'm on the Millennium Team, not the Millennial Team, the Millennium Team, and it was my day off. So it would have been like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and I was working the night shift, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And it was my day off. I remember I was playing a game called EverQuest. I don't know if some of y'all old stogies may remember this, but sorry, I'm catching up. There we go. You ready for an invite, Sneaks? But anyway, I'm at home playing this video game, and I remember I was playing like my necromancer. Because he's a solo kill. He was a solo player because my friends weren't online. So I was playing, and I remember thinking, haha, I'm gonna be able to level up my necromancer. And they're not on, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm playing, and then the power just completely goes out. And it's just like, it's this weird thing where it's like all the lights go out, and you kind of freak out initially, it startles you. I was a little irritated because it cut my game off, and it's not a game you can save, it's what we used to call an MMO RPG. I think they're just called MMOs now. And I was a little irritated, and I'm like, no big deal. We knew this was going to happen. And I start hearing this whoosh, 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 whoosh. It's a really unusual sound, and it reminded me of the generator at work, because when we had lost power at work, the generator would kick on, and it would make this weird sound very similar to that. So I still didn't think it was a big deal. I'm kind of just sitting there, and it's just deathly quiet. Like, it is quiet. And I kind of get a little nervous. I'm like, okay, what's going on? This is kind of weird. And I was like, we don't have a generator. It just hit me. I'm like, we don't have a generator. Like, we're just some poor kids, renting this house in the middle of nowhere. And so I decide to get out of my room. And I can't see anything. It's pitch black. You can't even see. I can't even see your hand in front of your face in this darkness. And of course, I knew the house that we were renting well, so I was able to make my way around. And I get into the common area, the living room / kitchen area, and I thought it was weird because, of course, my roommates were asleep. That's fine. They had day jobs. And the thing that was weird was that the dogs, they were inside dogs. One was like a Siberian Husky, and the other was like a chocolate lab, or a black lab. Oh, we got natives. Of course we do.
Whereabouts?
Oh,
back at the base?
Yep. We don't have natives anymore.
Okay.
So anyway, where was I? No. So the dogs, if I so much as opened up a pantry door, and there was just the lightest of squeaks, they would come to investigate. Well, I look, this is where it gets kind of weird. I look and they're asleep. My roommates, they were in a relationship. My roommates were asleep in their bed, and I could make out, once my eyes adjusted, I could make out that the dogs were kind of sleeping just inside the doorway. And they weren't getting up. And I went like this on the side of the door, and they weren't getting up, and my roommates weren't waking up. And that really freaked me out. I got so nervous. I wouldn't say I panicked necessarily, but you get that gut feeling like you're just not so, something's not right. So I decided I need to go outside. Because this is weird. And I go outside, and I just wanted some air. It was nice and cool outside. And I'm standing, for some reason, and I still can't explain it to this day, I opened the door very quietly, and then I closed it very quietly. Maybe it was so I, wouldn't disturb anybody or whatever, but I'd already tried to disturb them, so I don't think that's what it was. But I close it very quietly. I go out onto my front porch, and I'm just kind of looking around, what somebody would do to get some air. And across the street, which was about 50 feet, so about, 16 meters away, I saw these, outlines of small people out there, okay? And my first thought, because that neighbor over there, I knew him very well. He had a wonderful family. And they would come to our barbecues. We would go to theirs. We'd each had meals in each other's homes. But he had like a 12-year-old son and like a 14-year-old daughter. Okay, so my first thought was, man, those kids are over there like toilet papering or something. You know what I mean? Like just being kids. So I'm sitting there just watching. But after I don't know how long, it's probably seconds. I just kind of have like this, almost naive curiosity about what's going on, and I'm watching them, and it's hard to explain. Like the thing that at first you see these kind of outlines of what appear to be, it's hard to judge scale when you're 50 feet away, but, I'd say they were, children's size, like 4 foot tall or whatever, the height of my neighbor's kids. But I'm watching them, and the thing that stuck out to me the most was they each had, the best way I can describe it, you know what a lava lamp looks like. Like it kind of has this almost like an eyeball shape, you know, and the little globs go up and down, right? Well, they each had these little, we'll just call them lava lamp wands. And at the base, it was like almost a red, and then it faded into orange, and then to yellow, and then at the end, it was almost white. It was like an ivory, almost cream off-white. And they're just kind of waving them around. And my first thought was, well, they've got some kind of weird flashlight, or, you know, maybe they picked up like some sort of weird glow stick at Hot Topic or whatever. And then I kind of started watching them walk, which was very strange. And you could... the light that it emitted, it's hard to explain. It wasn't like a flashlight. It was an off-white, so you couldn't really see necessarily behind it. So it was kind of illuminating things, and it was illuminating them, but you couldn't see it very well. It's hard to explain. But it kind of freaked me out because the way they walked, when they looked like they were scanning the ground with these things, like picture somebody with a flashlight kind of moving it around. And they were all doing this, but the thing that really freaked me out was, you know how a person walks? It's going to be like that, right? Well, they didn't walk. It was like they glided. The best way I can describe it is like, so instead of walking like this, when they walk, it's like this, okay? Really even, just no up and down, just almost, the way I can the best describe it is like a puppet. You know, like if you've ever, you know, they're doing the puppet and they're moving it across and it's walking, or, you know, they're not doing this with it. They're just having it walk. So it's just kind of doing this. And I don't know how long I observed them. It wasn't very long. You know, it might have been 30 seconds. It might have been a minute. It might have been 20 seconds. I think it was longer than that. And I'm not scared. I'm just kind of watching because I don't really know what I'm looking at. And I can they just something that doesn't look right. Like they're wearing these gray, almost shimmery, like a raincoat. Okay, like a raincoat, and you can kind of see just from the light, just a little shimmer. And they're doing this thing, and they're just slowly but rhythmically, like a robot or something, just kind of walking around. And I'm watching them, and for a moment I remember this very vividly. It's almost like I wasn't there anymore. You know, like I was just watching like a movie or something, you know, like I wasn't there or they wasn't there. Really hard to explain. And I haven't freaked you out yet, Keith, have I?
No, I'm just intently listening.
Okay, so next, this might freak you out. So I'm watching them. They're all moving the little lava lamp wands around or whatever. And then as they're moving it, one of them stops this rhythmic movement and then turns its head and is looking, their head is facing me, okay? And they completely stop. They turn like this, and that didn't freak me out. It's like, okay, they see me, okay? What freaked me out, again, completely quiet at this point. The whooshing, it was long gone, but by the time I had gotten outside, it was gone. The one turns its head, and then the other three in unison turn their heads. Again, completely silent. Whereas before I was, again, like innocently curious. And okay, I don't know if you the hair on my arms is standing up right now as I kind of recount this, but that's when I kind of it not dread, maybe just kind of like a panic. Like I don't know what this is. Something isn't right. I don't know what to do, and I just get this in my head. I remember just this thought in my head of, you don't belong here, and then go, like get out of here, that type of thing. It was like, you don't belong here, go. Like my head, I'm not supposed to be here. Like that's what I'm thinking. You don't belong here right now. You shouldn't have seen this, and that turned into panic very quickly. Luckily, I had the keys to my car on me. I jam my hand into my jeans, pull the keys out. I had just bought a year-old Toyota Tercel, okay? Great, practically bulletproof car. Never had given me any problems. I think I'd had it less than a year. I unlock the car, I jump in, and here's where it gets even weirder. I try to turn it over. It doesn't even go or ka-chunk, ka-chunk. It just click. Like the clicking sound of the key. Not even of the car. Just like as you turn it, you can hear the key in there. And I burst into laughter. I'm not even kidding. I laughed because the thought that hit my head in that moment was, oh, yeah, my heart rate is up. You can't fake that. Thank you. Thank you, just not good. It's so... give me a second. Sorry. Oh, what happened to that? Uh-oh. There it is. Okay. Huh? So anyway, I turn it over, nothing, and I freak out. And hey, Star. Thank you for the sub. So anyway, nothing happens. I burst into laughter, and my first thought was, this is just like the movies. That was my literal thought. This happened. This isn't happening. This is a movie. And I burst into laughter. I literally turned the key, pulled it out, jammed it back in, and turned it, and it, boom, like that. I backed up the rear end of my car because our driveway was on a slope. Scrape. I didn't care. Backed up in reverse. I turn the wheel. Wait, actually, it would be that way. Yeah, turn the wheel that way to back out. And as I'm changing gears from reverse to drive, this thought gets into my head. It's panicked curiosity. I'm like, you haven't gotten really that good of a look. You've gotten an idea, the outline, but you haven't gotten that good of a look. Just look as you're driving away through your window, because at this point, they're to my left, okay? So I look over, and just for a split second, boom, split second, it's bright, that off-white ivory bright, okay? And while it didn't blind me, it kind of did this thing like when you look at something too bright for a long time. And I couldn't really make stuff out that was in front of me, but I'm driving. And the thought in my head, and this is something else I'll never forget, was floor it, and it's okay if you hit somebody's car. I'm not kidding, I thought this. It's okay if you hit somebody's car because maybe you'll wake somebody up. That was my thought. Like, I was that in a panic. So I floored it, and for, I don't know, a couple seconds, I'm having that foggy look in my eye, and I'm gunning it, and I don't hit anything. And then I can see again clearly. I keep driving. I drive to Walmart. It's like 4:15 in the morning. Cuz I don't know what's going on. Like what just happened, I drive to Walmart where I know there's going to be people, even though it was 4:15 in the morning. I remember seeing a guy in like a 3-piece suit, like a suit and tie, and he was getting, I left my own house, Darby. He was getting coffee. The guy in a suit, he was getting coffee. I guess he's just going to work. And I remember that. And I remember seeing people coming and going. I stayed there until the sun came up. Okay. And as the sun was coming up, I remembered, oh my God, my roommates. So I got in my car now that I felt safe. I drove back home. And the whole time I'm thinking, man, what am I going to come home to? What am I going to come home to? I don't know. I get out of my car. I look over there at my neighbor's yard. Everything looks fine. People have asked me that question. Well, did you inspect things? I looked over. Everything looked fine. And here's the thing. When you see something weird like that, you don't go over there with as skeptical as I am. I was in this mode. I didn't want to go back over there. You literally look over there, or I literally look over there, and I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I don't see anything. Something happened that I just can't explain. I'm moving on. That was my thought.
I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Exactly, Grey Wolf. Exactly. I'm fine. Everything's fine. So I go inside, and my roommates, they're making breakfast. Everything's normal. The dogs are walking around. And I was just going to keep it to myself. And for the record, before anybody asks, I was not drinking. And I was not on any sort of narcotics, no drugs, nothing like that. Not even cough syrup, nothing. Sober as a drum. Back then, this was many years ago. I like to indulge, we'll say, in adult beverages. But at that time, I was strictly a gamer. Even though I was of age, sure, I'd go out and have drinks with my friends, after school and whatnot. But nothing. I did not imbibe at home. I did not indulge at home. So he can tell. I've known him since I was born. He's 3 months older than me. I've known him since he was 3 months old. Okay, there's pictures of us playing as babies. So this guy knows me, is my point. And you got it, Sneaky. I'll send you an invite. So he immediately can tell something's wrong. And he's like, "Hey man, come here. What's going on? You okay? He's like, where have you been, by the way? What happened?" And I said, "I don't want to tell you. You're not going to believe me, bro." And he's like, "Hey man, we're best friends." And something along those lines. And I said, "All right, man." I said, "Come over." I didn't want his girlfriend to know. And I told him, and he was like, "Those were visitors, man." I was like, I didn't know what he meant by that. I'd never heard that term before. And Sneaky, I don't see you. You're living true to your name. But yeah, I don't see you on the list, bro. Oh, Keith, we need to go to sleep.
Okay.
Oh, it's getting dark. It's hazy around the edges. I'm just gonna take a quick cat nap while you're coming back up here. Yeah, I was getting ready to pass out.
No, I'm gonna sleep.
Now here's the thing. Here's the thing, chat. Oh, you're gonna sleep down there? No problem. Here's the thing, chat. Hear me. I wasn't even paying attention to that. That's how. And I wanted. I don't know. I don't remember if I said this before. Before telling you folks this, there are only 5 or 6 people on the planet that I've told this story to. Before today. So yeah, are you ready, Keith?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, sleep. So you can tell the scary part's over. My heart rate's back down, I think. I just looked over at it. But I tell him the story, and he's, "Oh, those are visitors." I honestly did not know what he meant. And he kind of explained it to me, and I said, "Nah, I don't buy into it." And then he kind of explained some more stuff, and he's like, "Dude, that is not the first time somebody has said something, like that. Like, there are elements of the story you just told me that he's seen on whatever sci-fi, not sci-fi, I'm sorry, mystery, unsolved type mystery type show." And I said, I'm not telling anybody. I said, "Are you crazy?" I said, if somebody told me that story, I would never talk to them again. And so I left it alone. I didn't tell anybody. And another strange thing, shortly after, we had already planned on going our separate ways. He was moving to a different city. He had already graduated. I still had a little ways to go in school. And so we went our separate ways, and I got my own place. And I don't know, it's a couple months later, I think. So I lived across the street from a bar, just by chance, okay, before anybody asks. And it's a really nice apartment. That was not my motivation, let me put it that way. And, well, maybe it was an amenity that I saw, but that wasn't my motivation. So anyway, I walk, and I would walk over there, and I'd walk back home, hang out with friends. And one time my girlfriend was walking with me, and we're going, and as we're walking, there's these street lights, and as we get closer to one, it goes out. And then when I get closer to another one, the one behind us turns back on, and then the one that I get closer to goes out. And this follows for the 3 or 4 street lights that are there before we get across the street to the bar. And she looks up and she goes, "That's weird." And I was like, "I know, right?" I said, it's been doing that since I moved here. I'm like, "Isn't it the opposite that's supposed to happen?" And she says, yeah. I said, "They're supposed to turn on, they conserve energy. They're on a timer, like a motion sensor." I said, "But they're turning off. There's something wrong with them." And she's like, "I don't know." And then I told that story to somebody else that lived in the complex. And they said, Nah, they don't do that for me. And I didn't tell them the story. But then, I'll check sneaky. Oh, yep. My hand's shaking a little bit. And there we go. There you go, Sneaks. I see you now. And, yeah. Very strange thing.
It's wacky.
Y'all can ask questions if you want. Yes, Star. Yes, Star, you're one of the 6. Some people have asked me, yeah, well, were you drinking? Were you under some sort of hallucinogen or narcotic? The answer is no. Sober as a drum. Another question. Let me think. Oh. Did they look like the gray aliens because of the height? Okay. I don't know. Their heads. It was kind of strange, and I hope I'm not inventing this after the fact because people have asked me this. But the heads did look kind of like they tapered down, almost like somebody's wearing a mask. Like, have you ever seen Spirited Away with that ghost thing with the white mask and the black? You know, the movie came out many years later, but I remember when I watched the movie, I was like, I just said to myself, that looks like those things that I saw. So I didn't really get to me, if anything, it at the time it kind of supported the idea that these are kids playing a prank. You know, they're wearing masks. Of course they're wearing masks. But the movements and the thing and yeah.
Wow.
Exactly, that's not good. So Alice, you say it was a nice experience. It still has. It still gives me. Yeah, look at my heart rate, 96. When I was thinking about them again, it still gives me an emotional response. Another question. They asked, was there any missing time? I didn't really understand what that meant, but I know there wasn't any missing time for 2 reasons. Number one, I knew what time it was when I was at home. I was working the night shift. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:15, something like that. And by the time I got to Walmart, it wasn't even 4:30 yet. So, I mean, I because when I got in my car and I started driving, you just naturally look at the clock on the dash. At one point in the drive, I did. So, that's the answer to that question. No missing time, no special effects, we'll say, from anything that I had taken. And I didn't get a crazy good look at them, other than the way that they moved and behaved. The strangest thing to me was the one head turning, and then in unison, the other I'm still shaking. The other 3 turning in unison. Oh, the other question. Were they aliens? Is the big question. Do you think they were aliens? I am still a skeptic. I do not know what I saw. To your point, Alice, I definitely experienced something out of the ordinary. But I'm not ready to say that's what it was. I know, again, there are a lot of elements from, what are they? It's like the abductions. I don't know what you would call it. The alien abduction experience. Alien abduction experience. It has a lot of elements to that, I understand, but it doesn't have all of them. I didn't see a ship. That's another question. I didn't see a ship. As far as I know, they didn't take me anywhere. They didn't have any time, they didn't really seem interested in taking me, I guess. Taking me, they just looked at me, and I don't know what they did after that because I didn't get a good look at them. Even when I looked over, all I remember is that flash, and then of course I looked forward and floored it and got the heck out of there. And again, while I didn't go over there and poke in my neighbor's yard, I didn't really see any evidence of anything after the fact. I didn't see like an extraterrestrial ballpoint pen on the ground, or anything like that. So, yeah. So that's my story. Nobody go anywhere. I'm glad y'all are still here. I think we had 14 people when we started. We still got 14, so thanks for not leaving in disgust. And little unidentified little people. There we go. ULPs. That's right, Grey Wolf.
Wow, what a story.
Thank you. It's something 24 years later that I still remember incredibly vividly. I remember not my girlfriend at the time, but later on telling. I was indulging when this happened. My significant other at the time. This was in 2008, and there was some sort of big UFO sighting, like in Texas. Okay, and it was on the news. Like it was kind of like this thing, and she kind of laughed it off, and I said, and again, I kind of indulged in imbibing certain liquids, and I said, well, I might have seen him. It just came out. I might have seen him. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I told her the story, and she was the first person. Second, sorry, including my best friend. But the first person I had told since the incident. Or experience, whatever you want to call it. And I shared the story with her, as many details as I could remember. And I could tell right away she didn't believe me. And she kind of looked at me like I was a hamster or something. You know, like, what? Like, and after that, our relationship kind of changed, you know, pretty quickly. And she kind of looked at me in a different light. And that reinforced the idea to not share that story with anyone, no matter, because I trusted this girl with my life, with my finances, my life, my reputation. I shared so much of my personal stuff with her. And for that to happen after I'd been with this person for so long, I realized you got to keep it a secret. So I've kept it secret for all these years. I've told a few select people that I felt after a time I knew and could trust. But that is in the single digits, the number of people that I've told. And the reason that I wanted to come today is because, you know, all the chatter lately about the extraterrestrials, like in Mexico, and these government the stuff that we're hiding, the files, the videos of what they call UAPs. I don't think that we're at the point where it's completely accepted by our culture and by society. There's at least a little bit more room to talk about it, I think. So, that's, I don't know. I don't have anything else unless anybody has any questions. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And speaking of imbibing, I think I am going to have a drink right now.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening, everybody. I really appreciate it. And I hope you don't think any less of me. Just know that is kind of a concern that's always in the back of my mind, even now. So I hope you stay with me. Hey, here I will, Roman Wolfie. I'll take a drink for you, absolutely. But yeah, please don't think anything less of me. I'm the same human being I was 30 minutes ago. Okay, I'm the same gamer, same unkempt gamer. What are you doing? I quit poking me, dude. I'm not an alien. I promise. Sneaky's poking me with this in the back with a spear. I've always wanted to taste alien meat. He won't miss a leg. I think they grow back, right, Sneaky? That's what you'd say?
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate it, folks. Oh, Gandalf, I hope you're joking. Gandalf just asked, hey, yo, what'd I miss? I hope that was a joke. But yeah, I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm gonna grab an adult beverage. Oh, and Sneaky, say hello to everybody. Sneaky's here with us now.
Hello, everybody.
What a time to come into the stream.
Yeah.
If you're seeing this on YouTube, don't forget to follow me on Twitch. Link down in the description. This was not an advertisement for that, by the way. That's just where this came out.